Hey Yoga fam, Jessie here. Today I'm going to offer us a simple and effective way to open our back and our side bodies a little bit. The past few days, my low back and outer hips have been really giving me some grief, and I don't know, I'm just going to take it easy and hopefully, if you would like to give yourself some space in your back and in your body, that these are some tools you can use anytime you need them. So not just in this practice, but maybe in a week or two when, you're shoveling or you're carrying stuff and your back needs a little TLC, some of these might help. So, okay, I'm going to redo that because that was shitty. I'm going to wave my arms so I can cut easier. Okay. Hey Yoga fam, Jessie here. Today I'm going to offer us some simple, gentle exercises to help open our back and side bodies. So we're going to need some props. You're going to want a couple of blankets or towels. So I like to have my yoga blanket, and I have this smaller blanket that I'd like to use for under my head or to kind of tuck in different places. Couple of towels will work as well. I have an assortment of bolsters. You can have a pile of pillows, you could have a really big stuffed animal, but we're going to use those today for sure to support our body. I don't know if we're going to get to a strap. Never hurts to have one nearby. And then if you have any blocks or books or little supports you like to use, a big book can work just as well as a block, especially if you have a couple of old books that don't have any meaning to you. You can tape them up and make a block. So once you get all your props, we'll get started in our first posture. Grab your blanket, both of your blankets, hypothetically. And we're going to open our blanket up so that it's folded, just like we call this Tadasana of the blanket. I learned that from Judith Lassiter. It's like the standard blanket size. And then we're gonna lie on the blanket in this shape. So when you fold your blanket or your towel up, one of the short ends of the rectangle will have folds and the other end will be open and loose. We want the folded edge. We're going to put it down the mat like this in the middle, sort of. And this line, this nice folded edge, we're going to lie on the blanket so that it hits right about at the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. If you're a person that wears a sports bra, or you can imagine that, that's kind of like the back of the sports bra region is where we're going for. When you're working with props, it's always worth the extra little smooth and adjust because it makes them more comfortable to lie on. And then I have my second blanket there just for my head because I always like that. Okay, so once you get yourself down onto the floor, it should feel like almost nothing. So, oops, sorry, my microphone was caught in my hair. It should feel like almost nothing. Your hips will be on the blanket. Your shoulders and arms will be on the floor. And that crease in your blanket fold should be right at the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. Your low ribs will flare open ever so slightly towards the ceiling when you get it in the right spot. And then your blanket under your head, you can tuck and fold any way that feels good. You can straighten your legs out on the ground in front of you. I'm going to keep my legs bent today because I've got some stuff going on in my body. So get yourself comfortable. Decide where you want to arrange your limbs. You may even want to bring your feet wide, knees together. A couple of big breaths here. Deep inhales and long exhales. If you're wearing glasses, you may wish to take them off. You can keep them on if that feels safer or you just don't even think about it. Sometimes when I'm on my back, my glasses feel distracting. And this supported, very gentle chest and shoulder opener has a lot more going on in it than it might feel like. This is one of my favorite, like subtle yoga poses. A lot of times when our bodies need something, I think it's easy to go to the biggest thing. So if you've been feeling um, like tired or unmotivated, you're like, I need to go to the gym every day, which is, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure because even if you were a disciplined athlete, sometimes it's hard to go to the gym every day because there's life that gets involved. Our bodies need rest. So instead of, excuse me, sort of jumping to another extreme, instead maybe say like, what can I do just to move my body more, if we're going to stay with that example. Here in this gentle chest and shoulder opener, instead of saying like, I need my shoulders to be the most open they can be, we offer ourselves the question of what happens when we just open our bodies this much. And I'm always surprised by the answer. I feel like there's so much to notice in the subtle parts of our practice. And if you haven't already, start to deepen your breath in and out through your nose. And you can stay right here if this is doing it for you. If you'd like to come off of the blanket and just come down flat on your back, that's also an option. And if there's a third option for you, excuse me, if there's another uh, like supported back bend with the blanket that you'd like to come up into, help yourself to that. We're going to explore a little box breath here in equal parts pranayama. So the way we explore this is first by getting our inhales and exhales to be the same length. So I like to pick an easy number to start. You can use any count you want, but I find 4 to be a pretty simple, easy count to do. So on your next breath out, exhale all the air, and then inhale to a count of 4, and exhale to a count of 4. And you can add length, you could count faster, whatever works. And when you're ready to add, you're going to hold the breath at the top for the same count of 4, and you're going to hold your breath out at the bottom for a count of 4. So it would be an inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, and on and on. If at any point it gets stressful or you just get like distracted or confused, which is totally normal, just let it go. Take a big breath out and start again whenever you'd like. Feel free to omit any part of that. It's a tool. It's not a prescription. So if the tool is not suiting the job you're having it do, there's no problem to switch and pick one that serves you better. Keep going, another minute or so here. At the end of your next exhale, sigh out big. Take a few moments just on the ground breathing. We're going to make our way up off of our props. So you can roll to one side and lift up just enough to move the blanket out from under you. And then come all the way back down onto your back. Legs in front of you or knees bent. And just observe. What did a few minutes of breath and blanket have to offer you? We're going to bring our knees up towards our chest. And you can either hold in front of your shins or behind your thighs and rock around a little bit. Give your low back a massage on the ground. Move your leg bones around in their hip sockets. And then bring your feet on the floor, knees bent. Cross your right ankle over your left knee, a little Suchiyantrasana, eye of the needle. So you could stay right here with your foot on the floor. You could bring your legs in towards your chest and hold behind your left thigh or in front of your left shin. Either way, wherever version you're in, try to widen your top leg away from your face. You can press your ankle into your thigh to give a little more oomph, a little more gentle engagement. If you want, you can extend your your bottom leg up if your legs are in the air, but that should add, not subtract. So if it took away from your hip stretch, see if you can prioritize opening the right hip a little more. When you're ready, release. Keep the shape of your legs and drop them over to the left so that your right foot comes to the floor. Right ankle is still touching the left thigh, right knee towards the ceiling, and arms open wide. A couple of big breaths out here. And then come back through the middle, and we'll switch sides. Left ankle crosses over the right thigh. And then you decide which angle is going to feel the most satisfying to stretch. Ooh. Deep breath. And when you're ready to bring your right foot to the floor, tip your legs over to the side, left foot on the ground, knee towards the ceiling and away from your face. Chest and shoulders open. And then come back through center and take something symmetrical. So maybe feet together, knees apart for a little Supta Baddha Konasana. Maybe you bring your knees in your chest or your legs up in the air. Those are all good options, and there's more. So do what feels right for you. And then roll over to one side and help yourself up. We're going to set up for it's nice. The floor is nice. We're going to set up for a side lying series. So we're going to need, let's see here. We're going to need our bolster. So a couple of firm pillows if you don't have a bolster, or sometimes if you roll a blanket around a pillow that can feel supportive, you'll see what we're up to laying on this bolster, and you can kind of make your decision from there based on what you need. I like to sit on a blanket, but you kind of have to divvy your props up. If you have like a ton of props, like use them everywhere for sure. I try to demo with minimal props because I know most of us don't have a ton at home. So I like to sit on a blanket. I find that my bottom hip sometimes gets aggravated in this. And then I also like to support my top knee. So you're going to come seated. Oh man, so many props. You're going to come seated next to the bolster or the pillows. And I'm on my right outer hip, so my right thigh is touching the bolster. I'm right up next to it. My legs are just bent to the side. I'm going to take this little bolster. You could take a pillow or a blanket, and I'm going to put it under my top knee. It kind of keeps my ankles and knees more supported here. And then I'm going to reach up and out so that I'm lying on my side over the bolster. So from like my hip to my ribs is cascading over the bolster. From here, I'm going to take my blanket and use it like a pillow on my bicep. My arm is just out long. There's another version of this you can do with your arm alongside your body. Today, my body wants this version, so I'm going to listen. And then from here, again, if you've got glasses and you want to take them off once you get settled, that's good. One option would be to let your top arm just hang wherever it wants to. If you're looking for more opening on the top side of your body, you can reach that. It would be the left arm for me, but it might not be for you. The top arm up and over to either rest on the hand of the bottom arm if that's comfortable, or you can just slide a block or a pillow or a book underneath your top hand. So you don't have to do any reaching. And you'll notice, like, if you're looking at the screen, I like to not fidget, but I like to find that Princess and the Pea kind of just right for my top arm, because I find that the opening I get in like my armpit and trap really needs the top arm to be heavy. If your body is subconsciously holding you up, sometimes things won't release. And so once you get yourself down into this shape, once you get all the way supported, take a few breaths and let yourself show up. Let yourself arrive here. Notice your breath moving into the underneath side of your body. So pressing into the bolster, into the floor. See if you can breathe deep into all of the different parts alongside, like where your ribs and shoulder and hip are. It might be interesting to breathe into the top side of your body, the side that's opening. And it might be interesting to notice both sides of the body. Like maybe the question of, can you breathe evenly, even though your body is experiencing two different things? And so perhaps the box breath shows up again. And maybe just let yourself drift. Couple more breaths. And then very carefully, move your top arm first. You may want to kind of scoot your block out of the way. We're going to roll onto our backs. I like to almost like kind of scoot towards the center when I do that. If you've got your blanket or pillow for under your head, you can just move it so that it finds your head. And let yourself flop open here onto the bolster. 5 deep, full breaths. And then help yourself over to the second side. So roll your way over, and then you are going to have to help yourself up here. You kind of can't, I don't think you can really roll perfectly into shape on this one. Although the rolling, I think, feels really, where are you? The rolling, I think, feels really good in the body. That's why I like that transition, is because I feel like it kind of smushes everything, and I like that. You might not. You don't have to do it. So when you come into the second side, I like to readjust, make sure that my props are where I want them, that everything kind of ends up in the right spot for this side. Sometimes it's very different than the first side, so no worries if that's the case for you. Help yourself down into this shape. Take all the time you need to adjust the props. And drop back into your breath. Hmm. Deep breath. Couple more rounds of full inhales and exhales. Again, maybe exploring the difference in the top and bottom sides of the body, or just watching your breath fill and empty. To come out of this shape, first move your top arm. And take your time. No rush. The beauty of doing yoga at home is that you really can be on your own schedule. So if a shape feels like you want to stay in it longer, you are more than welcome to. But we're going to roll onto our backs for a little bit of a longer chest and shoulder opener here. So scoot yourself onto the bolster so that your hips are on the floor and that your arms, head, and shoulders go back behind the bolster. So again, if you want to tuck and roll your pillow or a blanket under your head, that can help support while you open. And then you can do whatever you want with your legs. They can stay bent. They can straighten one at a time or both at a time out in front of you. And then very gently roll yourself over, excuse me, and push up. Oh. We're going to take one more little shape before Shavasana. Oh, I'm moving slow, I know. we're going to come into a reclined bound angle position. So you're going to turn your bolster 90 degrees so that it's going the long way down your mat. From here, I like to prop my bolster up a little bit. You can use cork blocks or foam blocks or another bolster or rolled blankets for that. There's a lot of ways you can get this kind of recliner angle here. So help yourself to whatever props you've got. Again, I like to sit on a blanket, but depending on how many blankets and stuff you have, you might want to save yours. And then I'm going to grab these two foam blocks for under my outer legs, but feel free to use pillows, blankets, or nothing at all. You're going to sit in front of the bolster with your knees bent and your feet wide apart. Your blocks or your blankets or whatever you've got are going to go underneath your outer legs. And then you're going to hold on to the bolster as you lie down on it. Arms can open wide side to side or stay on your body. If you've got a scarf or like a little eye pillow, you can bring that into the picture. I find it to be very relaxing to have a little covering over my eyes in this shape in particular. So whatever works. You can do this shape without any props. So even just lying on your back with your feet together and your knees wide will do. A couple of breaths just to get settled. And then offer yourself, if you'd like, that box breath again. Inhaling, hold, exhaling, hold, all to the same count. And again, if at any point it doesn't serve you anymore or it's stressful, just let it go. Come back to any kind of breath that you want. If you want to move to come into Shavasana at any point, help yourself. I'm just going to stay here personally. My body really is craving time here. And just a few minutes to rest and breathe. And you can let that box breath go, or you can keep it with you. You might want to take a few big sighs out and just set yourself up so that you can be here comfortably for a little bit. And notice yourself here on the ground, on the props, and decide if you'd like to stay longer, you should. But if you're ready to move and shift your way back into your day, and gently roll out your fingers and toes. You can use your hands to help your knees come together and maybe stretch out long, arms overhead, legs out in front of you for a breath. And help yourself up and find an easy seated position, one that doesn't require you to do too much of anything. And just remember that all of these tools, the breath awareness, the relaxation techniques, the props, these asanas, these shapes and poses, are all available anytime you need them. Not every tool works for every job, so having a tool belt full of options is so valuable. And I hope wherever you are in your body and in your heart and in your mind today, that there were tools in this box that were able to help you connect to yourself. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you for sharing your practice. Hail yourselves, yogis.